All right, so, you know, a little bit of movement here from the roster standpoint, you know, overnight. So we had released Paul Perkins, was running back for us, and signed Michael Jackson as a DB, young player coming out that we, you know, looked at in the draft and have an opportunity to bring him up. So also signed Casey Tucker to the practice squad, offensive lineman, get an opportunity to work with him. So that's good. We're also starting Austin Bryant. He'll be practicing today, which will be good. You know, got a little bit of a window here where we can try to get some practices in and get some pads and kind of see what that looks like and just take it slow from that standpoint. So we'll go from there. Tracy Walker will not practice today. He's, you know, still day by day. Graham Glasgow is actually, he's a little sore today, so he's not going to practice. We're in pads, so I'm just going to kind of keep him out of that. And then Deshaun Hand will not be out there. He's been excused by me for personal reasons. So I think that's about it. I mean, really, other than that, it's, you know, it's good to have the team in and kind of get going, get ready for Oakland. This is a team we don't know very well. I think they're well coached. I think they've gotten a lot better. Obviously, we had a great opportunity to practice against them last year. That was a good experience for us to be able to go out there and you know, they were tremendous to us and hosted us while we were out there for the week. But Coach Gruden's doing a great job. Mike Mayock putting a team together that's got a good combination of young, very talented, explosive players, combined with some veterans that, you know, are pretty savvy vets that are experienced guys in the NFL that I think are really bringing these young guys along at a high level. So, you know, it's a really tough team. They do some things really well, and, you know, we know we're going to have some problems with them this weekend. So we need a good week of preparation. We got to dive into it today and all the way through the week to get ready to go, and obviously take a West Coast trip and try to go play well. So we got a big challenge in front of us this week. That's kind of where our focus is right now.
You look at them; they do a number of things well, like you said. You know, especially third down. I think
they're second in the league.
50% card. I think it's like 140 passer rating on third down. Just what makes them so good on that down? Obviously, important down.
Yeah, you know, a couple things. Dove into that pretty extensively here in the last couple of days, and really those third downs are, you know, you look at it initially and you're like, all right, well, they're trying to do a good job of keeping the third downs manageable, and they're doing a good job in first and second down, which they are. But some of those third down conversions are third and longers, third and eights, third and nines, and they're just, you know, scheme-wise, they're doing a really good job of getting the ball out. The schemes, I think, are coverage-type beaters. They're doing an excellent job kind of doing their scouting reports and attacking, you know, what the defenses are giving them. Great job in protection. These guys do a phenomenal job in protection right now and give the quarterback time. And he's also making a lot of checks and audibles at the line of scrimmage. And I think there's some guys out there that are making some big plays for him too. You know, Waller's a huge catch radius guy. He goes up and makes a lot of plays for him. Williams is another guy that, you know, when he's kind of singled up on the backside, makes a lot of plays for him. We know Zay Jones is going to be part of this and probably a bigger part going forward this week and what he can do. But really, Hunter Renfro, who's another guy that's been playing in the slot position, very fast, another young player but quick, has been really explosive and dynamic. And those kind of, you know, having that sort of skill players out on the field makes it really difficult in those situations. And then, you know, honestly, getting the ball to Richard out of the backfield is another problem. You know, so they just have utilized every single weapon they have in those situations to attack the coverage that they're seeing, and have been really, really efficient. So it's very impressive.
I know we've talked in the past, you played the team, not the conditions, but air quality is awful right now in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
I saw a study out there that said basically it's the equivalent of smoking 7 cigarettes a day just being outside. Is there any special approaches you have to take to just getting your team ready for those conditions?
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, for us, we're just trying to, you know, focus on the game and making sure that we're prepared from that standpoint. I would say, you know, with everything that's going on out there, honestly, my first thought would just to be that everybody's safe, you know, and that the people that are in the mix of all that, the first responders and everybody that's got to deal with those situations are just, you know, they're careful, they're safe, and you know, just I know how hard of a job that must be for them out there. So that's really, as far as thoughts, that's really kind of it from that standpoint. Other than that, it's just focused on what we have to do and how we have to prepare to go, you know, try to do well against what they do.
There is nothing different, though, with conditioning from that perspective? No more extra hills or anything along those lines?
Nothing along those lines, no. Again, we'll just, you know, approach it like normal from that aspect.
seeing the rookie running back, Jacob, he's got yards, plus he's got yards per attempt 5.0.
Yeah.
How good has he been for them?
Yeah, he's been outstanding. He is a tough, strong, explosive runner. It's another really good run game. Every single week we see this stuff. A little bit different of a run game maybe than what we saw last week from a scheme standpoint. But as far as production, very productive. He's got really good vision. He's a thick, strong-bodied, explosive runner. He gets in and out of the first and second level very quickly. He gets to this, the third level fast. The thing that jumps off tape very quickly when you watch him is how aggressive of a runner he is. He is a physical. He's going to bring it to the tackler. He's not going to wait to be tackled. He's going to go attack the defender and try to, just get those tough extra yards. And he's not, he doesn't go out of bounds. He's going to stay in bounds and try to, bring it back in or cut across or, jump back into the defender. And you just see that toughness right away.
It's been a long time since you've seen Austin Bryant on a practice field. What are you looking for from him when he gets back out there? And then once he's ready to go, whenever that might happen, what does he bring to your defense?
We're still obviously a long way away from the second part of that, but I would say for us right now, just taking it day by day with him would be getting him out and putting him in some situations where communication, alignment, stance, trying to be consistent with some of the technique work. We still got to, really reteach and relearn and put them in a lot of different scenarios to get caught up. So from that standpoint, it'll just trying to be, the thing we'll be looking for is consistency with him, and seeing if he can just improve a little bit each day. So get back out there, kind of knock the rust off a little bit and get back into some of the techniques and the pad level and the hand placement and the stance and the alignments, communication, work through that today, and then, hopefully have that mastered in a day, and then go out tomorrow and try to build upon that. But I know we're going to have to kind of reteach as we go through, and just take it from that approach. I think that's the best thing to do before you try to pile too much on, and then you got to go back and reteach. Just try to build it from the ground up.
You had when Jahlani was out and missed training camp and he was coming back, you had talked so much about how he needed to have contact. Obviously, Austin Bryant plays a little bit of a different position, but is this a similar thing there where, realistically, he might not be ready for 4 or 5 weeks because of that specific piece of it?
I think it's realistic to say that we need to maximize as many contact practices as we can fit in here to have confidence, and for him to have confidence in using his skill set at a level that'll be productive for him and for the team. So that's certainly would be the same approach from that standpoint. Again, we try to simulate as much as we can without the pads on, and just be consistent with some of the drills we can do in the sleds and some things like that. It's just so different though when you have another person kind of pushing and pulling, and there's just a lot of auxiliary muscles that come into effect, and support tendons and things like that in your body. So just trying to get him in many of those positions as possible to kind of gain confidence and just make sure that the strength and the technique is where we need it to be in order for him to go play.
Matthew's having a really nice year so far. Obviously, I think he's on pace for most yards since like 2011 or 12. So how do you look at your run-pass balance, I guess? Is there a number, 600 passes too many? Is there a number that you don't want him approaching just from tear season?
Yeah, I would say nothing along those lines from numbers or hard lines or anything like that. I think we're trying to do whatever we can each week to win. It's certainly going to be different week in, week out, based upon our strengths and based upon what we think, where we have an advantage maybe over our opponent from that standpoint. Again, just give him all the credit in the world for, the work that he does every week to go out and prepare to, be productive on Sundays, and the leadership that he provides and the way that he studies for opponents. And, he's been really focused, really locked in, really just great every single day to coach. You love to coach those guys. You love to coach guys that love the game. They want to compete. He's really smart. We come in, we get together, we talk scheme, we talk personnel, we talk all that stuff, and he is, he's on it, and honestly, probably one of the cooler moments for me is we were having a conversation maybe a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about some DBs and some different things that they were going to see, and he was showing me his notes, and he had the same thing written down, and kind of just reconfirmed some of that stuff, and that's fun. That's what I really enjoy, and that's why he's as productive and as he is on the field, because he puts in the work. There are different days through the course of the week, yeah. Depending on what we're doing, maybe early down conversation, maybe a third down conversation tomorrow, red area on Friday, something. something like that. Again, we're just trying to catch time when we can, busy schedules and all that. But, those are important. I thoroughly enjoy those.
Yeah, this is how I was dared to ask this, by the way, but do you have a favorite Michael Jackson song? I was dared.
That'd probably be a no. Probably just. It's good one, Mike. There you go.
It's close to 120 passer rating, 6 touchdowns, no picks. Just what is it about third down? Is it just the scheme, the guys around you, or what has helped with you guys being so good on third down, you especially?
I think it's all of it. I think it takes the guys up front doing their job, keeping me upright, running backs protecting, and then guys on the outside winning and catching the ball. So it's a total team effort on third down. I'm just kind of a byproduct of it.
It's kind of an unusual game, though, where you guys passed every third down. And
last game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, was that the plan going in, or was it
no,
with the down and distance?
Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of third and shorts.
Yeah.
So we kind of had to throw the ball and made enough plays. I think we were 8 of 11 there early on in the game and really rolling good. So looking to try and do that week in and week out. That's a great number if we can keep it up.
Any thoughts about going against Gruden, the guy who used to talk pretty favorably about you as a broadcaster, now he's coaching, and how they look with him?
Yeah, I think they're a really well-coached team, both offense and defense. They do a great job. I think he's a smart guy. He's been, around the game of football for a long time. So a lot of respect for him, a lot of respect for their team, and a bunch of good players.
Matthew, I got to ask you about the voice. I mean, obviously, what's the concern, I guess, heading into a game since you got to make, the calls and checks? And all that?
I think it'll be fine by Sunday. Okay. Yeah.
What about starting to stack with them? We use that phrase all the time, starting to stack wins in mid-season right now, getting off the schneid 1 week and now maybe putting some together.
Yeah, it's important. You got to go out there and prove it every week, though. It's not something that just because you won last week means you're going to go out and play good the next week. You got to put the work in the week in practice, and obviously go out and execute on Sundays.
What are you dealing with?
Just sick. Yeah, just sick.
When did that happen? Like you wake up?
I started feeling not so good before the game on Sunday, and it's just kind of been hanging on, but it should be good by next Sunday. Don't worry about it, guys.
But in all seriousness, when you wake up with a voice like this, it's an everyday thing too. You kind of sit there, you maybe more than others, and walking like, this could be a little bit more difficult to change things.
Not too bad. We just adapted out there at practice today, and I was full go. It was fine, so we made it work.
Extra tea and honey.
Yeah, that's right.
Not to jinx you, but you passed Matt Ryan on the consecutive starts and active quarterbacks. The arc of your career, early on you dealt with some injuries. What does it mean to you to, stayed in there through thick and thin, a lot of injuries?
Yeah, it means a lot. Obviously, I just want to be out there for the guys. It doesn't mean anything other than I just want to be available for those guys. I was actually texting Matt last week trying to figure out if he was going to go or not. Buddies with him, I wanted him to keep his streak going because I know he's a tough guy that's played through a lot in his career and he just wasn't able to do it. So, it's like I say, sometimes you got to get a little bit lucky, something you can play through, and I was able to, have been able to be, a little bit lucky in that regard.
Matthew, you seem to have formed a pretty fast chemistry with Danny Amendola here. 2 straight good games for him. What goes into, I guess, the quarterback-wide receiver relationship and I guess things clicking quickly?
A lot of hard work, and I think a lot has to do with understanding of the game. I think he understands the game and sees the game really well for a receiver. And I obviously have a different view than those guys do running routes. And he's a lot of times doing exactly what I would want him to do and did a great job of catching the ball last week, made some big plays for us.
We chatted briefly after the game about Marvin Hall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious the uniqueness of his numbers and that he's not targeted a lot, he's not catching a lot of balls, but when he does, they're big plays. How or why is he maybe being used that way?
Obviously he wasn't with us all through training camp, so he's a guy that's just kind of building his role. And when we put him out there, he's done a nice job. Sometimes the ball finds him, sometimes it doesn't. That's kind of the way it is in this offense. As you guys have seen, I've spread it around a bunch. He's just one of those guys that has made some big plays when his number's been called.
I guess the uniqueness was that when he does catch it, it's for like 40 yards.
Yeah, I can't explain it.
Yeah.
But I just happen to, I feel like, look his way when he's running along.
Yeah, Matthew, how is it that everybody seems to have his day, though, starting with Hawkinson in the opening days? Is it what you do one week influences what happens the next week, the way they play him? Really, it's sort of happened that way. It's kind of interesting. I've noticed it as well. It's not something that I think about except for after the fact. Sure.
But we've had a lot of good players step up and make a lot of good plays for us, and you know, it seems like week in and week out somebody's doing it, and we're going to need more of it, you know, throughout the rest of the year.
Did you at all follow the no trade deadline yesterday with any interest in who you might pick up? Or?
Not really. I was just going to wait and see, just like all you guys, and you know, status quo moving forward. Here we go.
Do you feel like you're playing particularly well over the last 3-4 games compared to even how you played in some of those stretches of your career?
I don't know. I feel like I'm playing okay. There's always room for improvement. Always want a couple throws back, but just trying to keep us scoring points. That's the biggest deal. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Important, man. Very critical. You know, I got to go out there and prove that, you know, I can help this team win the rest of the year. If I can, then I'll be out there. If I can't, then I won't. So I just got to do my part, and whatever, you know, they decide, that's what I'm going to do.
How disappointing has it been? Obviously, you fought through the injury last year, and this happened so early in training camp. It's kind of like you're early on in your career.
Yeah, no, it's been tough, man, especially the whole draft process. Couldn't do anything. When I got here, I couldn't do anything, and to finally get cleared and then have another little mishap to, you know, prolong it even more, you know, it was tough, but, you know, I just had to be patient. You know, had some great teammates, you know, give me encouragement. Coaches always encouraged me. So I was able to keep a positive attitude and just continue to work.
Does that kind of be used as fuel too, you know?
Yeah, definitely, man. I don't think I'll forget this experience that I had. You know, God willing, you know, everything goes smooth in the future. But, man, I'll never forget, you know, having to be patient. You know, you come in as a rookie, you want to play right away. And to have to sit back and wait. You know, I think it's kind of helped me more than anything. You know, I got fresh legs. I was able to, you know, learn as much as I could, you know, from the older guys and the coaches, being all the meetings. So that was really helpful.
A little bit of rust out there this afternoon?
Yeah, it was a little rust. It's hard to just jump back into football, especially when guys been playing for what, like 4 months now.
Yeah.
So it's tough, but you know, it's football. I've been doing it my whole life. So.
Was this a back injury again?
Yeah, it was kind of the same little area. Not the same exact injury, but the same area.
How did it feel today?
Oh, it felt good, man. It felt good. You know, the training staff's done a great job helping me get back to where I feel confident in it. So, you know, I'm really pleased with where I was at today, and hopefully I can continue to build on it these next couple weeks.
It's been a long time since we've seen you out there. How exactly do you fit into this team?
Man, wherever they need me. You know, if that's on the edge, if that's on inside somewhere, wherever they need me, you know, I'm more than willing to do whatever they ask. You know, my main goal is I just want to help the team win. That's it.
A guy like Derek Carr? Just stick to our game plan. Stick to the game plan that Coach Patricia has, all 3 phases, and yeah, that's all we got to do. Cool.
What are you seeing out of the Raiders that you think you guys need to capitalize on? Obviously, the rookie running backs averaging 5 yards a carry.
The biggest thing that we preach is just stopping the run. We want to stop the run and create and make teams become one-dimensional. So it'll ease up our life as backers or as D linemen, so they can just go attack the quarterback. But yeah, our main plan right now is just to stop the run and stick to our game plan.
2 weeks of Cook and Barkley got you prepared for that?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, but like I said, you can't flinch from any challenge, and we accept any challenge that lies ahead of us.
What stands out about Jacobs going up against him in the hole like that?
He's a really good back. You know, he wants to get into contact, and luckily we love to be in contact as well as defensive players. So. Like I said, it's another challenge that we're ready to accept, so it's going to be fun.
Is defense fired up after getting to the quarterback a lot more last week, 23 pressures?
I think we're just excited for the next game, you know. I mean, I was just talking about it this season. It actually went by really quickly so far, you know, and we still have about 7-8 games left. So I'm just excited that we have another opportunity to play ball. So.